go! Let's go! Let's go! I Let's go!
Oh.
Yeah.
What? What?
Let's go! Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mario time! Yeah. Let's go! Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah. Good. Huh. Good. Good. Yeah. Huh. Woo. Huh. Yeah. Whoopsie. Oh. Oh yeah. Mario number one! Woohoo! Ha!
What? What?